Hi everyone. In this video, we'll go through 1-marker questions from differential calculus. So here's the first problem. If y is equal to log e to the power e, then dy by dx is, so we'll have to find derivative. So we'll have to differentiate this entire expression. Now always remember one thing, e is a constant, that it's a number, right? Any number, it's a constant. And it is raised to the power e, another constant, which means derivative of a constant is always 0, right? For example, derivative of 1, derivative of 2, any number, derivative of any number is 0. So log of a constant is a number. Therefore, derivative is 0. Now second one, if y is equal to sine cube root x, find dy by dx. Now we'll have to use chain rule here because there are multiple composite functions. There is a function within a function. Now sine is one function, root x is one function, and cube, that is power, is another function. There are three functions here. So first we'll always have to take the power exponent. This should be the first one. So here it's 3. So if I use the derivative formula, what is that? D by dx of x to the power n is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. Right? Now here you have 3. Right? So we'll put 3. And what is the, instead of x, what do we have? Instead of x, we have sine root x. Right? So we have sine root x and then to the power n minus 1. What is n? It's 3. So it's nothing but it's going to be 3 minus 1. Sine 3 minus 1 root x. That is sine square x. Right? 3 minus 1 is 2. So sine square root x. Now first function is over. That is, we have found the derivative of power. Now what is the next thing? We'll have to take sine. We'll have to find the derivative of sine. What is derivative of sine? It's cos. Right? Now instead of x, we have root x. So we'll just copy as it is, cos root x. Now we'll have to find derivative of root x. This is a third function, right? Root x is third function. Sine is second function. Power is first function. Now what is derivative of root x? Derivative of root x is 1 by 2 root x. 1 by 2 root x. Now you can remember this as a formula. The derivative of root x is 1 by 2 root x. You can remember this as a formula, or you can assume that root x can be written as x to the power half. Then you can use this particular formula, that is half into x to the power half minus 1, which is nothing but half into x to the power minus half, which can be further written as half. X to the power minus half can be written as you can write it as 1 by root x. X to the power half is root x, it's minus, so I can shift it down, right? I can bring it to the denominator, so it will become x to the power half, which is root x. So 1 by 2 root x. Now third example, differentiate this entire expression with respect to x. So we'll assume that this entire expression is y. Now we'll find dy by dx. That is, we'll differentiate this expression. So always keep the number as is. 5 you keep as is. What is derivative of e to the power x? Derivative of e to the power x is e to the power x itself. And derivative of log x is 1 by x. And derivative of root x is 1 by 2 root x. Keep the number as is, right? So you'll have to find the derivative 1 by 1 because you have subtraction here, right? If you have addition or subtraction of different functions or different terms, then you can find the derivative separately. You first find derivative of this, then this, then this, and put the signs as is. The fourth example, if y square is equal to 4ax, find dy by dx. So now you'll have to find derivative of y square. What is derivative of y square? So nothing but you'll have to use this formula, right? This formula. Derivative of x to the power n is n into x to the power n minus 1. So it is x to the power n is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1, right? This is the formula. Now instead of n, we have 2, right? And instead of x, we have y. So y square is equal to 2 into y to the power 2 minus 1, which is 2 into y. So 2y. And since you are differentiating with respect to x and we have y here, so it has to be dy by dx. And then 4a is a constant. Whenever you find a, b or c, assume that it is a number. So just copy the number as is, 4a. Then what is derivative of x? Derivative of x is 1, right? How derivative of x is 1? Derivative of x is 1. How? So you assume that the power is 1, right? There is nothing means that the power is 1. So I'll use this formula, n into x to the power n minus 1. What is n here? N is 1. So 1 into x to the power 1 minus 1, n minus 1. So what is it? It's 1 into x to the power 0. X to the power 0 is 1, right? So 1 into 1, which is 1, right? So derivative of x is 1, like this. So you'll get 4a. Now what you'll do, you'll just find dy by dx, shift everything here to the other side. So when I shift this, it will become division, right? Here it's in the numerator. When I shift, it will come to the denominator, right? And this is the answer. Next problem, if y is equal to cos x cube, find dy by dx. Now here, we'll have to differentiate cos first, right? So now in this case, we differentiated power first because the power was to the sine, not to x, right? It was sine cube, but here there is a difference. Here the power is to the x, right? In both the cases, there is a difference. So here first what we will do, we will take cos function. What is derivative of cos function? It is minus sine, right? And it has to be x cube here, right? It has to be x cube. Instead of x, we have x cube. So just copy it as is. Now what is the second function? So cos is first function. X cube is second function. So what is derivative of x cube? It is 3x square, right? Simple. We don't have to remember the formula always. Take the power into x and reduce the power by 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2, right? Once again, you take the power, which is 3, write it as is, take x and reduce this power by 1. So 3x square, right? So we have 3x square, and then derivative of cos is minus sign, so we have minus here. So these are all examples of chain rule. Next problem, if y is equal to this entire expression, find dy by dx. This is straightforward because you have subtraction of the terms. So you can find derivative separately for this one, and for this one. So keep the number as is, right? A to the power x. Now you'll have to remember this formula. Derivative of a to the power x is a to the power x into log a. You have to mug up this. Derivative of a to the power x is a to the power x into log a. So we just write this. Then we'll go to the next term. Derivative of log x is 1 by x. And let's copy 3 as is. What is derivative of root x? It is 1 by 2 root x. Now this one, if y is equal to this entire expression, then what is dy by dx? Now the only difference here, there is a small difference here if you notice. Here we have a to the power x and here you have e to the power x, right? Derivative of a to the power x is a to the power x into log a. But derivative of e to the power x is e to the power x itself, right? Derivative of e to the power x is e to the power x itself. So 5 into e to the power x, derivative of log x is 1 by x, and derivative of a number is 0. So this is the answer. Here, if y is equal to x square minus 3x plus 10, then find dy by dx. Again, very simple problem. Find the derivative separately for each of these terms. So derivative of x square is, take the power, which is 2, copy x and reduce the power by 1. 2 minus 1, which is 1, so 2x. And derivative of 3x is same case. Now 3x, derivative of 3x is, copy the number 3 as is, right? What is the power? There's nothing, assume it is 1. So 1 into, copy x, reduce the power by 1. So when I reduce the power by 1, it will become 1 minus 1, which is 0. And anything to the power 0 is 1. So it will be 3 into 1, which is 3. So you always remember that derivative of x is 1. Derivative of x is 1. And derivative of a number or a constant is 0. Right? It's like this. Next one. If y is equal to 2 to the power x, then find dy by dx. Now this is same as a to the power x. We saw this problem, right? We had a to the power x. Instead of a to the power x, we have 2 to the power x, right? Now there a to the power x is a number. You can always assume a as a number, constant, right? And here we have 2 to the power x. So what is the derivative? What is the derivative of a to the power x? It is a to the power x into log a. So instead of a to the power x, we have 2 to the power x. So it is 2 to the power x into log 2, right? Because instead of a, we have 2. So here we'll have 2. So 2 to the power x log 2. That's all. Next problem. Find dy by dx if y is equal to this expression. Again, this is very simple. Now, you'll have to find derivative separately for this, and for this. So what is derivative of x to the power e? This is like x to the power n, right? Right? Instead of n, we have e. So what is the formula? N into x to the power n minus 1. Instead of n, we have e, right? E. So it will be, now this is like this, right? So it will be, instead of n, we have e. So e into x to the power e minus 1. That's all. E into x to the power e minus 1. Now derivative of e to the power x is e to the power x itself, and derivative of e to the power e. Now, like I told you earlier, e is a constant, is a number, and the power is also e. This is also a number. So this entire thing is a number. So derivative of a number is 0. Now find dy by dx if y is equal to log of tan x. Now, this is a composite function, right? This is a composite function. So you'll have to use chain rule. There are how many functions here? You have one function, here one function. Say this is first function, this is second function, right? This is second function. Now you go from left to right. First you have log. What is derivative of log? 1 by x, right? Derivative of log x is 1 by x. So, but instead of x, what do I have here? Instead of x, I have tan x. So it will be 1 by tan x, right? Derivative of log x is 1 by x, but instead of x, I have tan x, correct? So what I'll put, instead of x, I'll put tan x. So I have 1 by tan x here. So I finished first function. Now the next function, second function. What is derivative of tan x? Secant square x, right? So I have to put into secant square x. This is what is called as chain rule. Now you can further simplify this, right? You can write tan x as sin x by cos x, and you can write secant square x as 1 by cos square x, right? Secant x is 1 by cos x. Now when I shift this to the top, right, I have double denominator here. So I'll shift this to the top. It will become reciprocal. So it will become cos x by sin x into 1 by cos square x. So here cos x and cos x will get cancelled. So I'll be left with 1 by sin x cos x. Now there is one trigonometric formula, right? Sin 2a is 2 sin a into cos a. Remember this, very important. Sin 2a is 2 sin a cos a. So then what is sin a cos a? So what is sin a cos a? I can shift 2 this side, right? If I shift 2 this side, it will become half of sin 2a. So here, instead of sin x cos x, I can write half of sin 2x. Half of sin 2x, right? This has to be x. This has to be x, not a. Okay. So 2x. So when I take this half to the top, it will become 2 by sin 2x, which is 2 cosec 2x, right? 1 by sin x is cosec. Now this one, find dy by dx if x square plus y square is equal to a square. Now these are all implicit functions. That is, you have x and y mixed, right? It's not on, y is not on one side. You have it mixed. You have x and y both here. So now I'll differentiate this. So derivative of x square is 2x. Derivative of y square is 2y. And since I'm differentiating y with respect to x, I'll have to put dy by dx. And derivative of a square, I told you, whenever you see a, b or anything, it is a constant, and derivative of a constant is 0. Right? Now I just need dy by dx, right? So I shift everything onto the other side. So I'll shift 2x, so it'll be minus 2x. And I have this 2y here. When I bring it to this side, it's in multiplication. It will become division. Here it's in the numerator. It will come to the denominator. Right? So I'll get this answer. Next one. If y is equal to x plus 1 by x, then find dy by dx. Here you have to use quotient rule. Why you have to use quotient rule? Because it's division here, right? You have two functions. It is nothing but a division. It's a rational function, right? In such cases, you'll have to use quotient rule. What does the quotient rule say? The formula is denominator into derivative of numerator minus numerator into derivative of denominator by denominator square. This is the formula for quotient rule. So now denominator is x. So I'll say x, that is denominator, x into derivative of numerator. What is numerator? X plus 1 minus numerator, like this, numerator into derivative of denominator. Denominator is x, and divided by denominator square, that is x square. Now I'll find the derivative of x plus 1. Copy x like this. Derivative of x is 1 and derivative of 1 is 0. Similarly, derivative of x is 1 by x square. Now I simplify, I'll get this as an answer, minus 1 by x square. Next one, if y is equal to e to the power x plus x to the power e, then dy by dx is, so differentiate this entire expression. Derivative of e to the power x is e to the power x itself, and derivative of x to the power e, use this formula. X to the power n is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. Instead of n, we have e, so it will be e into x to the power e minus 1. This one, derivative of this entire expression with respect to x. So we'll have to find. So this is slightly lengthy, but simple one. So here what we will do, you have a power here, right? Always take the power first, right? The power is to the entire function. So first try to find the derivative of power. So you will say power, you'll use this formula, x to the power n is n into x to the power n minus 1, right? Instead of x, you have this entire expression, and power is 2, so you have 2 here, and to the power n minus 1, which is 2 minus 1, right? 2 minus 1 is 1. Now I finished one part of the function. Now the second function is what? This one, right? I have to go through chain rule. Now this one also you have to find the derivative. Now within this, again, there are two terms here, right? Within brackets you have two terms. Now what is derivative of root x? It's 1 by 2 root x. And what is derivative of this? So here I have 1 by root x. I can write this as, 1 by x to the power half. I'll take half to the top, so it will become x to the power minus half. Why am I taking this entire expression to the numerator? So that I can apply this particular theorem, right? N into x to the power n minus 1, right? So that I can apply this formula, I'm taking this to the numerator. X to the power minus half, right? Instead of n, I have x to the power minus half. So this will be minus half into x to the power minus half minus 1, right? So if I simplify this, it will become minus 3 by 2. I'll get it like this. I'll get it as minus half into x to the power minus 3 by 2. Now I can write this as, I can bring x below. I can always remove this negativity in the power. How do I remove negativity in the power? I can simply bring it down, right? So I'll get it to the denominator, right? And then the power will become positive, like this. Now you can see common factor between these. There's root x common, right? X to the power 3 by 2 is nothing but actually x into x to the power half. X into x to the power half is x to the power 3 by 2, right? You can consider this as 1. 1 plus half is 3 by 2. And x to the power half is nothing but root x. So if you notice, you have 2 common, you have root x common, right? So if I take 2 root x as common, I'll be left with 1 here. And then here I'll be left with only this x minus 1 by x, right? Now what I will do, I will multiply all of these, right? I'll multiply this, and this, and then I'll finally get this particular expression. Now this is of the form a plus b into a minus b. When you have something like this, it's nothing but a square minus b square. Notice this is a, this is b, this is a, this is b. Here you have plus b, here you have minus b. Now when you have something like this, you can write it as a square minus b square. Now what is a? It's 1 square. And what is b? It's 1 by x, the whole square, right? I can further simplify this and write it in this form. Here I can take the LCM and I'll get this as the answer. Slightly lengthy, and because of this power it gets confusing, but yeah, this needs to be practiced. Next problem. If y is equal to sine square x, then dy by dx. Now notice the square is to the sine, right? There is a difference. Always look for this difference. It can be either sine square x or it can be sine x to the power square. Both of these are different. This and this is different. It's not same. Now when you have sine square x, this power is to the function. This power is to the function. So you have to first find the derivative of the power here. First find the derivative of power. So power is first function. Power becomes first function and sine becomes second function. So now what I will do, I will write it in the form of n into x to the power n minus 1. So it will be 2 sine x. 2 sine x. This is the derivative of first function. Now we'll have to find second function derivative. What is second function? Sine. So derivative of sine x is cos x. Now in this case what is going to happen? Here what you will do, you will first find derivative of sine here. So it's different here. Here I'll find derivative of sine first. What is derivative of sine? Cos. And instead of x I have x square. I'll just copy it like this. Now I'll find the derivative of this internal function. What is derivative of x square? 2x. Right? So this is a major difference between these two kinds of functions. Next problem. If y is equal to tan 4, right? Tan to the power 4x, then dy by dx is, here again, this 4 is to tan, right? The power is there. So power becomes the first function and tan becomes second function. So I have to first find the derivative of power. So 4 It will be 4 tan cube x, because this is going to be n minus 1, right? It is n into x to the power n minus 1. Instead of n, I have 4. Instead of x, I have tan x, and n minus 1, that is 4 minus 1, right? So it is 4 into tan to the power 3x. Put the power to tan, not to x, okay? Remember, put the power to tan, not to x. So 4 tan cube x. Now I'll find the derivative of tan, right? This becomes the second function. Derivative of tan is secant square x. Next function, if y is equal to sine of cos x, then find dy by dx. Sine. So again, go from left to right, okay? And only in cases when there is power, you'll have to be a little cautious, but otherwise go from left to right. So derivative of sine is cos, and instead of x you have cos x, so copy it as is. So one function is done. Now second function is within the brackets, right? Within the brackets we have cos x. What is derivative of cos x? It's minus sin x, right? So this is the answer. Here's the next one. If y is equal to a square minus x square to the power 10, then find dy by dx. Now this is a case where there is power. So what should we do? Power should be given the first preference. Power becomes the first function for which you need to find the derivative. So this is the first function and this becomes the second. So let's find the derivative of power. So power into this entire function to the power minus 1. So 10 into this entire function into 10 to the power 10 minus 1, which is 9. And now we will find the derivative of what is there within the brackets. Now, like I said, this is a number, constant a, right? So derivative of a square is 0. And then what is derivative of x square? 2x, right? Derivative of x square is 2x, and then you have minus here, so let's not forget. So it's minus 2x. So this is the answer. So 10 into 2 minus 20x into this entire thing to the power 9. Next one, if y is log of log x, right? So what we will do, again you will take it from left to right. This is first function. Now what is derivative of log x? It's 1 by x, right? But instead of x, what do we have? We have log of log x, right? Instead of x, we have log of log x. That's the difference. So I will write it as derivative of log x is 1 by x. But what do I have instead of x? I have log of log x. So we finished first function. Now we'll go to this internal function, right? What do we have inside? We have again this. We have to find the derivative of this portion. Now here you have log. What is derivative of log? Again 1. 1 by log a. 1 by x. Derivative of log is 1 by x. But instead of x, what do you have? You have log x. So 1 by log x. So we found the derivative of second function, which is 1 by log x. Now again we have to continue. What is derivative of log x? Now this one. What is derivative of this log x? It's 1 by x. That's all right. So we first started with the function outside, which is log, and we copied this entire thing that was inside here. Then we went to the second function, this log, right? Then again we found the derivative and we copied this as is. Then we found the derivative of this third function, log x. What is derivative of log x? 1 by x. Now find the derivative of this particular function. Y is equal to 7 to the power sine root x. You see this is similar to a to the power x. What is derivative of a to the power x? It is a to the power x into log a. Now if you notice, instead of a you have 7. That's the only difference, 7. Instead of x you have sine root x. So I can write it as 7 to the power sine root x into log a. That is log a is nothing but log 7 here. So same thing, I have done this here, right? Now it doesn't stop here, I have to continue because there are 3 functions here. One is this entire thing is one function, sine is one function, root x is one function. So again we'll go from left to right. So we finished this 7 part, right? This entire function we finished. Now we have to go with sine. What is derivative of sine? It's cos, right? Now we finished cos, right? And we'll copy this root x as is. Now what is derivative of root x? It's 1 by 2 root x. So this is chain rule. Now here's another example. Find the dy by dx of this one, root of cot root x. Now like I said, this is a power, right? You can write this square root is a power actually, right? Because I can write square root always like this. I can write square root like this, right? Instead of writing like this, I can write cot of root x whole to the power half. So I have to give preference to power first. So Now, what is, you can assume that this entire thing is x. What is derivative of root x? It is 1 by 2 root x. Now, but instead of x, I have cot root x, right? So it will be 1 by, what do I have instead of x? I have cot root x. That's all. 2 root cot root x. Now what I have to do? I have to go to the second function. What is second function? Cot. Then what is third function? Root x. So into derivative of cot is minus cos x square. Derivative of cot is minus cos x square. And instead of x, what do I have? Root x. So I copy as is. Now I'll go to third function. What is third function? Third function is root x. What is derivative of root x? 1 by 2 root x. That's all. It stops here. So it stops when you reach the number of functions. You have 3 functions here, right? First one, second one, third one. So we have done this chain rule 3 times. Next problem. If y is equal to, straightforward, just find derivative of this one, and this one, right? So copy the constant, the number as is 3. What is derivative of x cube? Take the power, take x and reduce the power by 1. So 2. Similarly, copy 4 as is, x square. Derivative of x square is take the power 2, then take x. 2 minus 1 is 1, right? So you got single order derivative, right? You will have to find d square by dx square. You have to find second order derivative. That is, you have to differentiate 2 times. So we differentiated once here. We'll differentiate again, right? I take this expression and differentiate again. So what is derivative of 9x square? I copy 9, take the power 2, copy x and to the power 2 minus 1. Reduce the power. 2 minus 1 is 1. And derivative of 8x is 8. Right? Because derivative of x is 1 and copy 8 as is. So 18x plus 8 is the answer. Yet another double differentiation problem. Y is equal to log x plus a to the power x. Derivative of log x is 1 by x. Derivative of a to the power x is a to the power x into log a. This is a direct formula. Now you differentiate again. So derivative of 1 by x. What is derivative of 1 by x? How do you know? Take x to the top. So I can write 1 by x as x to the power minus 1. Because there's nothing here, you assume it as 1. And when I take this to the numerator, this plus 1 will become minus 1. So x to the power minus 1. Then I will use this n into x to the power n minus 1 formula. X to the power minus 1 is, instead of n I have minus 1. So I'll put minus 1 into x minus 1 minus 1. It will be minus 1 into x to the power minus 2. Now this is minus 1. I can bring this down. I want to remove this minus sign here. So I'll bring x to the denominator. So minus 2 will become plus 2. So this is how I have got here, minus 1 by x square. Now the next term, I have to find derivative again. So this entire thing is a number or it's a constant. So you copy this log a as is, right? Copy log a as is. Find the derivative of a to the power x. Derivative of a to the power x is a to the power x into log a. So you have log a and log a here. So you can write as log a square and a to the power x. Next problem. If y is equal to root of 2x plus 3, then what is d square y by dx square? So I have to find double derivative. So first I'll differentiate once. So you can assume that this is root x, right? Root x. What is derivative of root x? 1 by 2 root x. But instead of x, what do I have? I have 2x plus 3. That's the only difference. So I'll write it as 1 by 2 root of, instead of x, I have 2x plus 3. It doesn't stop here. I have to differentiate this, right? I only differentiated root. This is first function and this is second function. So I've taken the derivative of this root. Now I have to go inside, right? What is inside the root? 2x plus 3. What is derivative of 2x? Into derivative of 2x is 2. Derivative of 3 is 0. So we'll do it like this, 2 plus 0 into 2 plus 0. That's nothing but into 2. So this is how I get. Okay, so I've got the first order derivative here, right? I have taken this root of 2x plus 3 to the numerator, right? So if I take it to the numerator, I can write this as root of 2x plus 3. You can write as 1 by 2x plus 3 to the power half. Instead of root, I can write it to the power half. Now I'll take it to the numerator. It will become 2x plus 3 minus half. This positive power will become negative when you take it to the numerator, right? Now I can easily apply this formula, right? That's why I'm doing this. Because I have to find double order derivative. That is, I have to differentiate this entire thing again. So when I differentiate this again, this will become d square y by dx square is equal to, now I have this power, right? First I have to find the derivative of the power. So I have to use this formula. So instead of n, I have minus half into x. Instead of x, I have 2x plus 3 and this power minus half minus 1, right? This formula I'm using, right? And then it doesn't stop here. I have to find derivative of what is there inside this brackets. So I have 2x plus 3. What is derivative of 2x? It's 2, right? Now, so minus half minus 1 is actually minus 3 by 2. This becomes minus 3 by 2. Now I want to get rid of this minus sign. So I'll bring this 2x plus 3 from numerator to denominator. So the power will become positive. Because there is minus sign, when I get this down, it will become plus sign. Next one, derivative of this particular expression, right? So what is derivative of root x? 1 by 2 root x. What is derivative of y? 1 root y, 1 by 2 root y. And let's not forget to put dy by dx because we're differentiating y with respect to x. Now you find dy by dx by shifting everything else to the other side. Shift all of this to this side. So it will be minus 1 by 2 root x, right? And here, instead of 1 by 2 root y, when I shift it to the other side, it will become multiplication. Here it is 1 by 2 root y. Here it will become 2 root y by 1. It will become a reciprocal basically. Here it is in the denominator. When I shift, it will come to the numerator, right? So this is the answer. Now, next one, derivative of x minus y is equal to 0. What is the derivative of this? Straightforward. Derivative of x is 1. Derivative of y is dy by dx. Now, that means dy by dx is, I can shift this 1 this side, so it will become minus 1. So dy by dx is 1. Now, last problem. What's the derivative of x square minus y square is equal to a square? Derivative of x square is 2x. Derivative of y square is 2y. And let's not forget to put dy by dx because we're differentiating y with respect to x. Now you shift everything else to the other side and just keep dy by dx here. So this will become, when I shift this here, it will become minus 2x. And when I shift it here it's in multiplication. So here it will come in division, right? Here is the numerator, it will come to the denominator. So I'll get x by y as the answer. So with this, we've come to the end of this particular topic. If you like this video, do press a like and share it. Thank you.